Hello, guys, and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga match day 5 after a very successful weekend. Radek, you nailed another ACCA. You're on fire. How are you?
Yeah, it seems I'm great, but I'm a little bit sick. I hope it's not affecting my tips on this weekend. Let's have an awesome game day number 5 now.
Hopefully it doesn't affect your judgment because everyone is very happy with your tips in this match day. Bayern Munich dropping points. So we are going to analyze every single game. Guys, remember to comment the video with us. Of course, press the like and subscribe to our channel and even hit the bell so you will get notifications whenever we publish new videos. Radek, let's start with the game we have on Friday, Borussia Dortmund, Hoffenheim. Remember that we have Champions League the following week. So perhaps teams like Dortmund want to keep some important players on the bench ahead of that debut in the Champions League. For Dortmund, should be easy against Copenhagen. And I don't think, Radek, that 𝐿𝐵𝐽𝐻 wants to keep many players on the bench because they need everything to beat Hoffenheim because both teams are with 9 points in the standings. Dortmund suffer but beat Hertha 0-1. And for Hoffenheim, great start for them. They lost the initial game against Gladbach, then 3 victories.
Yes, and their new coach does a great job. Hoffenheim is a surprise with 9 points. On the other hand, Dortmund has also 9 points and is a disappointment because they lost a very unnecessary game against Bremen, but they come back against Hertha now. Not very impressive, all games of them so far. So this could be a hard game for Dortmund as well. As you mentioned, they're playing in the Champions League next week. The odds on Dortmund are not good enough to bet on them, so no mention this. But as I said, I think Hoffenheim has a chance to make a close game as well as everyone did against Dortmund this season so far, because Dortmund was not dominating any opponent. And that's why I hope they won't dominate against Hoffenheim. And my favorite bet is a draw here because we get huge odds on a draw. I don't want to risk a lot of money because at the end, we all know that Dortmund is very strong at home and they should beat almost every opponent at home, especially Hoffenheim, as they did a lot in the past. So always be dangerous or be aware of this. And at the end, I don't like the low odds on favorites, and I keep on betting on underdogs and against favorites, and that's why I like the draw for odds of 4.6. I only bet 1/4 of a unit, not much risk, and if we see a draw, it's rewarded. The other option is betting on Hoffenheim, Asian handicap +1. But you get odds of 1.86 and you have to risk 1 unit. And I don't think that's a better bet as, I think it's better to bet on higher odds with lower money and, so have better chances.
Okay, then the draw, perhaps you think very similar in the next game, Leverkusen, Freiburg, a team like Leverkusen going to play also Champions League against Bruges. Freiburg, they are going to do their debut in the Europa League. And here we have Leverkusen as favorite, odds 1.9 after the victory, the first victory of the season against Mainz. But if we check the standings, Freiburg are way ahead of them with 9 points, suffering against a weak team like Bochum. Perhaps this is why the bookies, I'm seeing the squad, no, Radek, that's why the bookies still trust Leverkusen at home against Freiburg.
Yes, and after all, Leverkusen is still a top team, but they had a bad start and now getting back to normal after beating Mainz with an impressive 3-0. And that's why I think the odds are okay and fair, but bad for us. So I would like to bet on Asian handicap 0, maybe on Leverkusen, but the odds are not great for that, as Leverkusen win is only around 2. The odds on Asian handicap 0 are 1.45. That's maybe an option for an ACCA, but also still not great odds, as Freiburg is always a good team. But at the end, I think Leverkusen will win this game no matter what, and get back on track again and stepping up in the standings. So unfortunately, no really good bet here, and that's why we have to go to the next one.
Next one then is Stuttgart Schalke, two teams that haven't won a single game yet. 3 points for Stuttgart, 2 points for Schalke. Getting thrashed. Schalke 1-6 against Union Berlin, and playing in Stuttgart, a good opportunity, Radek, for the home team to win. Odds for them to win actually are 1.9.
Yeah, same thing here. Very bad odds for a weak team like Stuttgart. No win at all, and they get odds of 1.8, and this is way too bad to bet on. On the other hand, your favorite team, Schalke, didn't do that well against Union Berlin, losing with 6 goals. So also no really option betting on Schalke here. I think Stuttgart deserves the high odds because they had good games despite not winning a game. I think they improved comparing to the last season a lot, and it's a matter of time that they win a game. And I think this is the best chance to win their first game now at home against a team like Schalke, who's struggling and who's new in the league. And we all have to remember that they left the league 2 years ago with losing almost every game and a really bad run. So maybe second league they did okay, but now Bundesliga is still a bit too high for Schalke. That's why I think they might lose this game, but the odds are again great made of the bookies, so we don't find value here. But if you want to combine, I would say Stuttgart is not losing this game, and we can bet on double chance Stuttgart with very small odds, but that's not really worth because the odds are 1.25 here, and the other option is Asian handicap 0 on Stuttgart, what means we get our money back if there's a draw, and the odds are 1.4. All odds around 1.4 are good enough to combine with another 1.4 odd and make a double bet out of it and get odds of 2. So I would combine this Stuttgart Asian handicap 0 with Dortmund Asian handicap 0. And no, not Dortmund, Leverkusen Asian handicap 0, and we get a double bet. But as a single bet, it's too dangerous, so the odds are too bad.
Okay, so if people are risky enough or brave enough, they can go for Stuttgart and Leverkusen. Otherwise, cover yourself with the Asian handicap 0 for both games. Then we have a clash of leaders in the Bundesliga, both teams with 10 points. I'm talking about Union Berlin, Bayern Munich. What an amazing start for Union Berlin. We mentioned before that thrashing victory against Schalke, 1-6. They are also playing in Europe the following week in the Europa League. Whereas for Bayern, Radek, they deserve to beat Gladbach, but they face Sommer as the big hero. So first time they drop points in this Bundesliga.
Yes, and happily, because no one wants to be Bayern Munich running away again. And so Gladbach made the impossible, and they made a point against Bayern Munich. And another great thing is that Union Berlin is still has the same points as Bayern Munich, so they might be 200% motivated in this game. But is this enough to do the same and keep points against Bayern Munich? I doubt it, but the odds are still attractive if you consider that Union Berlin is a great home team. And they managed to draw against Bayern Munich 2 years ago. Last season, the games were really clear for Bayern Munich, but 2 years ago, Union Berlin made it close. And maybe now we see another great season of Union Berlin, and they might have a chance at home against Bayern Munich and might surprise again. So the only thing I can imagine is that it's also a draw again. I can't see Union Berlin to win, but we have the chance to bet on Union Berlin Asian handicap plus 1.5. That means if they lose even with one goal, we win this bet, and the odds are around 2 at Bet365. And
that's good.
This is an option to bet on the underdog here. Last game day, Gladbach had even the line on Asian handicap plus 2.25, and I was aware because I think Bayern Munich can beat every opponent in the world with at least 2 goals in advantage. So also Union Berlin for sure. And that's why that is not my really favorite bet, but I think it's worth a try. The other thing I like here is betting on over goals. We get odds of 1.85 if there are more than 3 goals. And so, yeah, this should be easy to achieve, as Bayern Munich, besides the last game, is a scoring machine, and they had about 20 chances against Gladbach, and the only reason that Bayern Munich didn't win this game very high was their keeper, as you mentioned, Jan Sommer. Awesome keeper. And I think Union Berlin has not this great keeper, so there will be goals for Bayern Munich, and there might be goals also for Union Berlin, as Bayern Munich allows the opponents to score. So the odds on over 3 goals are 1.6. Over 3.25 goals means if there are exactly 3 goals, we lose half of our bet. So not really great bet. So I would prefer betting on over 3 goals, and we get odds of 1.6 here.
Okay, we have to remember that Bayern Munich, they have a tough game in the Champions League since they are traveling to Milan to face Inter. In case you want to go also for this Asian handicap plus 1.5 for Union Berlin. The next game is Bochum, Werder Bremen. Bochum, 0 points, 4 defeats so far. They are becoming the first of this season so far without any points, whereas for Werder Bremen, remember that they got promoted this season, 5 points, and especially Radek, very entertaining games. All 4 games for Werder Bremen, we saw over 3.5 goals.
Yeah, they're the scoring machine here, and the third best strikers with 10 goals scored in the first games. And they came back in the Bundesliga with a bang, and really good to see them. They're really one of the most attractive teams at the moment. They made an unbelievable win against Borussia Dortmund. We all know this 3-2 in the last 6 minutes. They completely turned around this game, and against Frankfurt they also scored 3 goals. It was one of the most interesting games so far in the season, and that's why here we see the first game with really good value on one side, as Bremen, as a clearly better team, here has odds of 2.45, and that gives us the chance to bet on Asian handicap 0 on Bremen with odds of 1.75 around. That's a good single bet, and I would combine Bremen double chance that they won't lose here in Bochum. We get odds of 1.5, and this is one of the best bets so far on this very difficult game day, where we shouldn't risk a lot of money, which we won in the last game days. So there will be maybe better opportunities to bet on.
All right, but this one is good. If you go for Werder Bremen to win or Asian handicap 0, as Radek said, 1.75. Then we have Wolfsburg Cologne. And here we have Wolfsburg as favorites. Odds are 2.3 even. Remember that they haven't won a single game yet. 2 points, no victories. The last game was a defeat against Leipzig, and the draws were against teams like Schalke or Werder Bremen, that they are newly promoted in the category. So bad start for Radek, and I guess for Wolfsburg, Radek. And I guess this game against Cologne won't be easy. Cologne, by the way, they are playing also in Europe.
Yeah, and Cologne surprised in a lot of games. They didn't win one of their last 3 games also. They draw against Stuttgart with a very uninteresting 0-0, which I predicted, by the way. And in this game, I think, it's time for Wolfsburg to make their first win or at least 1 point. So I don't think Wolfsburg is losing here. Because after all, and after bad games and after a bad last season, Wolfsburg has really, really good players. We have to have a look at their roster and their players. So there are a lot of great young players, and they have a good mixture of really young, talented players and experienced players like Max Kruse, Maximilian Arnold, Maximilian Philipp, and 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐴, one of the best keepers in the Bundesliga. And I really think Wolfsburg, it's a matter of time that they strike back and they get better. And I think this is a win for Wolfsburg. The odds are great. So I would say Asian handicap 0 on Wolfsburg here is great for an 𝐿𝐴𝐴 with 1.56 in odds. And as a single bet, Wolfsburg win with odds of 2.2 is also a fair chance because of all I've said. And I think that they have the better players, but Cologne proved in the past that they are a really good team and that they have an awesome coach. So, but I think they're better at home. So this is another advantage for Wolfsburg, that Cologne is not playing at home. And so one of the better bets on this game day.
All right. And the last game we have on Saturday is an interesting one. Frankfurt, Leipzig, both teams playing in the Champions League. Both teams won their first game in the last match day. Frankfurt, this thrilling game against Werder Bremen. Leipzig, that victory against Wolfsburg with 𝐿𝐭𝐿 scoring a brace. Radek, here, the bookies place Leipzig as huge favorites. Odds are 2.1, but we know how much they suffer when they are traveling in the last months.
Yes, and Leipzig is still one of the biggest disappointments in this season, as they have one of the best teams, but they don't deliver. And the win or their points so far are only because they have 𝐿𝐭𝐿, who's still awesome, as he played last year, and he's the only one seems striking for Leipzig. And no matter that they also have Timo Werner back now in their squad, but he was kind of sick in the last game, so he didn't play a lot. Leipzig is not really great, and now they have to face Frankfurt, which was also not doing really great in the season so far, but now they won against Werder Bremen, and it seems everyone is freaking out about Frankfurt and Mario Götze be back in the Bundesliga. He scored the first goal after about almost 1,000 days not scoring in the Bundesliga, because he had a lot of injuries. He had problems not playing at Dortmund. He went to Holland or Netherlands to Eindhoven, and now he's back at Frankfurt, and it seems he's in the best shape he's ever been, maybe. And that's a really attractive game to watch here, because so far I'm not impressed of Frankfurt, but with Götze they might be much better than before, and he can make the difference, maybe, as he did in the World Cup final 2014 2014 when Germany was world champion because of his goal against Argentina. But this is a long time ago, 8 years now. And but yeah, as I said, 𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐻 is back again, and he has always been a great player, but he had a lot of problems. So maybe now Frankfurt is the right club for him, and I hope we will see a lot of good games from him. Maybe this is another one. So because of improved Frankfurt and disappointing Leipzig, I think the best thing is to bet on a draw here. Odds are 3.8 for a draw. We only have to risk 1/3 of a unit here. And maybe, even double chance on Frankfurt is a good option, as the odds for that are 1.9 as a single bet. But if you know me, I'm the draw guy, so I prefer the draw here because they have the higher odds.
Okay, Mario Götze is only 30 years old, by the way. I thought since he scored that winner goal in Brazil, but he was very young, of course, at that time, 22 years old. So he's still young to do big things with Frankfurt. 2 more games. Radek, to give us some tips on Sunday, Augsburg, Hertha, 2 teams that started very bad this season, especially Hertha, only 1 point following the strike that they had last season. In danger in the bottom part, do you see Hertha getting some points from Augsburg?
Yeah, I think it's surely possible. And Augsburg is also one of the worst team in the season. So the odds are kind of balanced because both are not great. And in this case, best thing is to bet on a draw as well. Odds are 3.5. And one of the best draws, and I will come to that later. We can bet on draws as single bets with only 1/3 of a unit. If your unit is, for example, €10 or $10, just bet $3 on it, and you can win 1 unit if the bet is correct, and you only lose €3. What is less than if you bet on maybe a winner or maybe a double chance and lose a full unit. And I prefer not losing too much and winning much more if the odds are higher.
All right, and let's see if we can make some profit also in the last game of this match day. Gladbach Mainz, with the good start of this season for Gladbach, no defeats, 8 points, perhaps. They can do big things this season because they are not playing in Europe. Last season was very bad for them, and they were even able not to lose in the Allianz Arena, as we mentioned, because of Sommer especially. And now they are playing against Mainz. Their first defeat, as you predicted, by the way, was against Leverkusen. Do you see also Gladbach winning this one?
Yes, it seems to, because everything you said, Gladbach is strong in the season and playing at home even better for them. We have to keep in mind that there might be a curse of Bayern Munich, that Gladbach made a good game against Bayern Munich, made a point against Bayern Munich. In the next game, a lot of teams had problems and didn't win their games. And I see the same here, kind of, because, I don't trust Gladbach at this stage of the season. They have to prove that they can continue their run, that they are able to be a top team. And if they want to be a top team, they have to beat Mainz. And the odds are good for that, 2.17, the best odds on Gladbach. And this is kind of dangerous and kind of attractive, again, because we think, Gladbach is really great and they made a point against Bayern Munich. But at the end, it was just Jan Sommer who made a point, to be honest. And Mainz lost against Leverkusen within, I think, 10 minutes. Leverkusen scored 3 goals, and the rest of the game was really close, and Mainz was not bad. And you don't have to overrate Gladbach, and you shouldn't underrate Mainz. So it's a really dangerous game. At the end, I would say another draw here. And but I can understand the people who think Asian Handicap 0 on Gladbach has value, because 1.6 is good for that, as Gladbach has a run, maybe, and is not losing this game. So two options here. In an ACCA, I would say it's a good thing betting on Asian Handicap 0 on Gladbach. As a single bet, I would prefer the draw. And if there's a draw, we don't lose money.
Right. Last season was 1-1, actually. So Mainz know how to get points from the Borussia Park. Radek, thanks for analyzing with us this match day. Let's see what else do you have for us. For instance, your preferred bet for this match day.
Oh, my preferred bet, as I mentioned, is that Wolfsburg is not losing at home against Cologne. The odds are 1.55 or maybe 1.6 if you compare odds on Oddspedia. And that's why I believe that Wolfsburg has a good mixture of young players and experienced players, and they need time to make points. And now the time has come for Wolfsburg to make their first win. So Asian Handicap 0 means we don't lose money if there's a draw. That's my favorite bet as a single bet.
And your ACCA, 3 out of 4 so far this season. Amazing. Let's try another one.
Yes, and again, we are going for the Asian Handicap ACCA. 3 games I have for you. And the first one I said is Wolfsburg, Asian Handicap 0 against Cologne. The other one is Bremen double chance at Bochum with 1.5. And the third one is, as I said, that there might be value that Gladbach is not losing against Mainz. And we have odds of 1.6 here. And combining these 3 odds, we get around 3.7 in total odds.
Great. Radek, thanks very much, of course, for analyzing with us one more day the Bundesliga. Remember, guys, to subscribe to our channel so you know whenever we publish new videos, and you follow Radek, the 𝐿𝐭𝐿𝐴, we can call him in this season. It doesn't sound this good. Yeah, actually. Thanks, Radek. See you next week.
Bye.